Oh, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable unto you, O Lord. I started planning the 2020 conference back in 2019. My planning started by first confirming with God that there would be a 2020 conference. It's not an automatic thing. I always confer with God. It's like, are we going to do this again? And I clearly heard, yes, we're going to do it again. So at the 2019 conference, I announced that the theme for this year, 2020, was going to be 2020 vision, and that it was going to be based on Habakkuk 2, 1 through 3. I put down a deposit to save the dates and to save the rooms back in July 2019 so that we would have the space, because hosting a conference at Maranatha, you need to set things aside a year in advance. Using my preparation list, oh, you should see that list, right? It is 3 pages full of things to do. But using that preparation list that has never failed me in 18 years, I began purchasing thank you gifts for the speakers, door prizes for the attendees, tablecloths and decorations for the dining area, purses for the vending area. I just started picking up all kinds of things, right? It takes me all year to just gather the things. You should see the storage area in my basement, right? Preach Sista has taken over the basement, just getting everything set. I was so prepared. And perhaps this was one of the earliest times that I have been fully prepared for the start of the conference, right? Because I wasn't going to sweat this conference out. Everything was going to go. I was super excited. January came along, and so did my call to the speakers to confirm that they were going to again participate, just as I had planned to do. And then early in February, my calls to Martina and Bernice to confirm the number of people that would be coming from Louisville and South Haven happened, just as it usually does, right according to plan. South Haven always has firm numbers because they start planning a year in advance as well, right? Getting their money together. Everything was going as I had pictured. Everything was going the way that I had planned. And in my mind, I had pictured this year's conference with even more attendees, the great speakers as usual, because I knew God was speaking with them. I had been praying over them, and our prayer team had been praying over them all year round. I knew we would hear a word from the Lord from each of them, and I could hardly wait to see everyone again. But in the middle of March, my picture of how things would be began to crack. My plans, my timetable, my long to-do list began to develop cracks because things changed. A new term entered into our vocabulary, COVID, or as my brother likes to call it, the Ronus. My day job at Calvin University sent me and everyone else home for 2 weeks. But what started out as a 14-day inconvenience has developed into a 60-plus day of stay at home, no public gatherings, the conference site was closed. And then I began wondering, okay, what am I going to do? This is not on my list. This is not what I had planned. This is not how I had pictured things were going to do. See, I had a vision, and the vision for the conference wasn't written in 2019. The vision for the conference was written back in 2000 when I started Preach Sista. I had always imagined a conference that would encourage people to keep the faith, a conference that would activate the spiritual gifts that God has put into us, or to stir up those gifts that maybe have gone a little dormant, a conference that would be a safe place for people who had been wounded by the church to come and feel healing and to feel the love of God without racism, without shame, without guilt. I'd envisioned a place, a setting that would be accessible to anyone who wanted to attend. The registration cost for a Preach Sista conference compared to other conferences is super low, right? So this is all that I had imagined. This was the vision. This is what I felt was in my heart. And I had been running with that vision for 19 years. Oh, so what was I going to do? Well, 1 Corinthians 9 and 24, the Amplified Translation says this: do you not know that in a race, all the runners run? They put their very best foot forward, but only one receives the prize. Run your race in such a way that you may seize the prize and make it yours. And you know what? I've been running with this race for 19 years. And this year, this race looks a little different, but the race may be different, but the vision is not different. I just had to change up my techniques a little bit. See, back in the day, and I'm talking way back in the day, I used to run track. My husband ran track. He got awards and prizes and all that, medals, that's what it is, prizes and medals for running track. But anyone who is running track meets will tell you that you need to change up your technique every now and then according to the race, right? Sometimes your race or your strategy, the technique that you use for a race, is to qualify for time, right? You're trying to get a certain time. Your team is trying to get certain points so that you can qualify for a bigger race. You can qualify for the districts. You can qualify for the nationals. Hey, you can even qualify for the Olympics. So you are trying to run your race to get a particular time, trying to run your race so you can qualify for a bigger race. Sometimes your strategy or your technique is to, run your race, but adjust to the weather. Because of the wind, because of the rain, because of the heat, because of the cold. You try to change up a little bit just in response to the conditions that there are, change in response to the weather that there is. And sometimes your technique is for reputation. Now, me as a runner, I never run about reputation because I never won a race. But my husband, now he could run, and he ran from Muskegon Heights Tigers, the high school team, and then running in college. Oh, they had a reputation, right? They wanted to have it so that when they stepped out on the track, that people would go, oh no, here they come. Here come Heights. They're going to take it over. They're going to sweep. And that was their strategy, right? They were trying to build a reputation. So they'd be selling wolf tickets all day long. You ain't going to beat us, trash talking and all that other kind of stuff. So when it was looking like the conference as I had pictured wasn't going to happen the way that I had pictured, I was like Habakkuk. I was like, Lord, you and I need to talk. So I asked God, did I get the picture wrong? Did I write the vision out wrong? Am I supposed to be running with this vision? Am I still supposed to be running this race? And just like God answered Habakkuk, I felt like God was answering me. Say, Michelle, no, the vision hasn't changed, because as you know, in Romans 11:29, my gifts and my call are under full warranty. They are never canceled. They are never rescinded. Yes, you have been running with the vision, running this race for time these last 19 years. You have been running for time qualifications. You have been running to qualify for the bigger race. 19 years, you have been faithful. So don't stop now. You're in the big leagues now, girl. So no, the vision hasn't changed. You just need to change up your technique for the race this year. This season, your technique has to adjust to the heat of COVID. This year, you have to adjust your technique to the wind of new technology. This year, you're going to have to adjust your technique to the cold of social distancing. This year, you're going to have to adjust your race to the rain of uncertainty. Girl, you still running, but this season, you got to change up your technique. And while you're running this year, while you are running to adjust to the season of COVID, to adjust to this new weather, adjust to this new context, you also going to be running to shore up your reputation. It was like, what? What do you mean by this, Lord? So Michelle, remember 5 years ago when you wanted to quit, 5 years ago, you started doubting yourself again that, am I enough? Should I be doing this? He said, you're not going to have to wonder this anymore. This season, Michelle, in this season, in this race, while you run in this race because of the weather, in this season, I'm also going to be preparing you for the next race. Because remember, you qualified. So now that you are qualified, now that you know yourself that you are qualified, in this season, while you are running in reaction to the current situation, I'm going to be preparing you for the next race. I'm going to be preparing you for the bigger race. So girl, lace up your shoes, get to the starting block, because I'm going to get you to the place where you never doubt again what I have put in you. So what I'm going to do is I'm adding resistance to your workout. I'm adding resistance to your training. Girl, get ready, because I'm going to stretch you. Woo! And when you do this, when you endure, when you go through this, you're going to be stronger coming out of this than you were coming into this. You're going to be strong enough so that you never doubt yourself or what I have put into you again. You're going to be stronger. You're going to be so strong that you're going to be more than a conqueror, and you're going to know that you know that you know. You're not going to just preach it. You're going to know it. You're going to experience it. You're going to be strong enough so that no weapon formed against you will prosper. You're going to be strong enough so that when you get out of bed in the morning and your feet hit the floor, any demons that are present are going to say, oh, no, here she go again. She up. We need to get out of here. Girl, you're going to be stronger out of this. You're going to be stronger out of this because I'm building your reputation. This is the way you're going to run your race. This is the way you're going to run it. You're going to run it. You're going to feel it. It's going to be good. Whew. So yes, the conference has been disrupted. It's not business as usual. I had the perfect conference formula. It worked. My checklist worked. I had the perfect conference formula. But God said, I'm doing a new thing. God said, girl, lace up your running shoes. Get back to the starting blocks. Whew. But you got to change your technique for this season. So run, preach, sister, run, letting endurance have its perfect result, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. James 1:4 keeps coming back to me. Run with endurance, letting endurance have its perfect result, so that I may be perfect, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. Run, preach, sister, run. This inconvenience is producing perseverance, and perseverance is producing proven character, and proven character, hope. You're going to come out of this stronger. We're going to come out of this stronger. In that I hope, in that I trust. Run, preach, sister, run. Run to get the prize, and run to win the race. Run, preach, sister, run. Run with 2020 vision. 2020 vision is generally called perfect vision. Many of us have what we think is a perfect vision for our life, and we get this vision out of our experiences and out of our desire. And out of that, we create an idea of the perfect life, the perfect ministry, the perfect relationships, and we write it out, and then we ask God to bless it. We get an idea, we see something else, and so we write it out, and then we ask God to bless it. Well, it don't always work like that. See, Leonard Cohen has said, forget your perfect offerings. There's a crack in everything. That is how the light gets in. What? Forget your perfect offerings, but I got the perfect plan. People, this pandemic was a crack in our perfect vision. Our perfect vision for not only this conference, but all of life. Everything has been disrupted. The ministry has been disrupted. Church has been disrupted. Work has been disrupted. Relationships have all been disrupted. This isn't the picture of what we had in our minds. This isn't what we imagined. This isn't what we had pictured. This isn't the way things were supposed to be. James 1:2-4 is a familiar passage, and I'll read it from the Message translation. Consider it a sheer gift, friends, when tests and challenges come at you from all sides. You know that under pressure, your faith life is forced to open and show its true colors. So don't try to get out of anything prematurely. Let it do its work so you become mature, well-developed, not deficient in any way. Well, hold on, wait a minute. Habakkuk, you said write the vision and make it plain so those who read it can run with it. But Habakkuk, you didn't tell us that there would be trials. Habakkuk, you did not tell us that there would be disruptions. Habakkuk, you did not tell us that there would be cracks in our vision and that the tablets that we wrote the vision on would develop cracks. Habakkuk, you did not tell us this. Habakkuk, you did not tell us that there were going to be the cracks of setbacks. You did not tell us that there were going to be cracks of self-doubts. You did not tell us that there would be the cracks of people who will stand on the side, not being a witness encouraging us on, but people who would stand on the side telling us that we can't, we shouldn't, we can't, we don't. And these people who are standing on the side telling us, don't even do that. Why are you trying? Some of it is the haters, but some of it is people who mean well. They don't see in us what God sees in us. Habakkuk, you did not tell us about the disruptions of unemployment, divorce, cancer, or a corona pandemic. Habakkuk, you didn't tell us all this. And when I think perhaps why Habakkuk didn't tell us all this, because for some of us, if we knew that this was in our future, we have the vision, but we have all this other stuff in our future, that we say, no, I'm good. This ain't my race. So what do we do with this vision that has been imparted in us? Well, I'm here to tell you, if you have a God-given vision, it's not a matter of if cracks and disruptions will develop. It's just a matter of when cracks and disruptions will develop. I remember one time, early in ministry, my feelings were hurt deeply about something. Someone had said, had questioned my ministry. Someone had said, no, you can't do this. And I ran to my mom, crying in tears, and said, Mom, such and such happened. And she said, oh, you come this far and don't have any scars? I will never forget that. I mean, she just said it so firmly. It wasn't a judgment call, but it was just saying, Michelle, in this race, in this journey, you're going to develop some scars. You run with God, you're going to have some scars. You're going to have people who doubt what God has put inside of you. But don't you doubt what God has put inside with you. You run with that vision, but you're going to have some scars. Girl, all you got to do is turn those scars into stars. Just keep going. So when the disruptions happen, when the cracks in your plans develop, when the vision doesn't quite look like the way that it was supposed to be, that you always imagined it would be, what are you going to do? Well, I'm here to tell you, you got three options as far as I can see. The first option is that you can retreat from the vision and the call. This is not the right one, but I'm just going to tell you about it, right? So retreat from the vision and the call. This is when you're saying, this wasn't for me. I knew God couldn't really use me, or really didn't want to use me. It must have been my imagination. God must have meant somebody else. And we hear this voice calling us, and we continually tell God, no, it wasn't me. Can't be me. Shouldn't be me. I'm just going to stop running this race, because clearly this race wasn't for me. And there we go, sitting on our gifts and talents that the Holy Spirit has imparted on us, sitting on ideas and witty inventions, because me, myself, and I, or somebody else, has convinced us that God can't and won't use us. That's the first choice. Not a good choice. Second choice, we ignore a new way. In this, we operate in fear. And I'm going to tell you, this is not the right choice either. So this is a pop quiz, but I'm giving you the right answers. The second way is to ignore this new way. We operate in fear, and we desperately try to hold on to what has always been. We try to hang on to what we know, the way that we have always done things. And when we hold on so tightly to the old ways, there's no room left for what could be. There's no room left for anyone else to speak into our lives. There is no room left for anything that is new. It's kind of like the scribes and the Pharisees when Jesus showed up on the scene. See, the scribes and the Pharisees had a way to have a relationship with God. Jesus shows up on the scene, and there's this whole new way. Matthew 23:13 says it this way: woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You shut the door of the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. You yourselves do not enter, nor will you allow anyone else to enter in who is trying to. When we ignore a new way, we say we won't go in. It's not just a hindrance for us. We don't just miss out on the vision, but we become a roadblock for other people. How do you not know that this new technology that is allowing us to connect to more people is just the way that God wants to use to reach somebody? We don't know that. Well, we do know that, right? But if we keep telling ourselves, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it anyway. This technology is just too complicated. I'm not going to try. Well, you know what? I know I'm not the perfect user of technology, but you know what? I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to do my best and let God step in and do the rest. That's what I'm going to do. So let's not ignore the new way. If we hold on to the old ways, if we hold on to the old ways, the vision is still the same. It is still reaching people. It's still connecting with people. It's still proclaiming the gospel. It's just a different way of doing it. The third way, which is the right way. Remember I said this was a pop quiz. We have 3 choices, 1, 2, or 3. The third way, this is the way that we should respond when cracks or disruptions develop in our vision and in our plans, those that we know that God has given us. We embrace the cracks. We allow in the light. We see the light that's coming into the crack, the new light, the new revelations, the new techniques, and we see them and we allow them to shake us up and to shake things up. We allow them to shake up the things that have always been familiar to us, and we allow it to make way for the new things. In Isaiah 43:19, the first part, God's word says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Will you not perceive it?" Will you not perceive that there is a new way to do things? Will you not perceive that God is doing a new thing in this season in our lives? We haven't been shut up for 60 days for no reason. We have been shut up, one, because of the pandemic, to keep ourselves safe. It's not a lack of faith, it's just using wisdom. But also in this time has been an opportunity to really sit and be present with God, to say, God, what are you showing me? What are you telling me? And new things are popping up. So what are you going to do with the new things? Oh, people, we choose what we want to see and what we want to perceive and how to perceive it. And the truth is, our vision is flawed and it's in need of adjusting. 1 Corinthians 13:12 says it this way: we don't see things clearly. We're squinting in a fog, peering through a mist. My brothers and sisters, yes, we have a vision, and we had 2020 vision, and in 2019, we had a vision of what 2020 was going to be like. But you know what? Our vision was flawed. We were looking as if we were looking through a dark mirror. We were looking through a fog, and we were squinting, and we're trying to make things out. The reality is, as 2020 has come upon us, that we realize that our vision was flawed. This has been a time of re-examining relationship, re-examining our work, re-examining ministry, re-examining how we gather at church, re-examining our relationship. This has been a time to re-examine all these things, a time for adjusting our vision, and a time to grab hold and establish that vision that God has given into us. And as God has poured that vision into us, we have decisions to make about what we're going to do. And so as I close, I sincerely believe that God has allowed COVID-19, or this Ronus, to play out so that we could see that this is a time to change up the way that we have always done things. Change up the way that we have been running with the vision that has been planted in our hearts. So run, my brothers and sisters, run to win the race. Run, my sisters and brothers, run, adjusting your strategy to the current season and the changes in the weather. Run, my sisters and brothers, run with the vision of embracing new techniques, knowing that it won't be long before the weather clears and the sun shines bright again. Because in God's timing, we will see it all then, see it as clearly as God sees us. Run, my sisters and brothers, run with the vision and make it plain. Amen. God bless you.